Mayoral candidate Anthony Furey says it's time to reclaim Toronto parks. In an announcement this morning from Allen Gardens, Furey says if he's elected mayor, he'll remove encampments and step up police patrols. And for more on his plan, we're joined live in studio by candidate Anthony Furey. Thanks so much for coming in and detailing your plan.
Great to be here,
your announcement
Scott.
this morning. So you announced that plan about removing encampments from parks. How would you balance the needs of families in this case and the people currently living in these parks with complex needs themselves, of course?
Yeah, great question. You know, this weekend, long weekend, warm weekend, no, a little chilly this morning, but it's going to ramp up in the next couple of days. And I think people are really going to want to talk about enjoying our public space, our green space, our parks. And it's good that we have reclaimed Trinity Bellwoods Park, but there are other public spaces. Allen Gardens, big tent encampment, and I know what it's like as the father of 3 small kids to go to Allen Gardens, because I used to live a few blocks from there, and to see needles in the playground and say, sorry kids, we got to head on, we can't stay here. A lack of access for people who live downtown, but it's not just downtown. You know, in Woodbine Park, there's been safety issues on long weekends. Parks in Scarborough, Etobicoke, North York, they're facing safety concerns as well. And what I want to do is say we just can't have tent encampments. We are a compassionate society, you better believe it, but we've got to make sure families have access. So the other day when I announced 500 more uniformed police officers to Toronto, that includes a visible presence in communities, including in parks. I would also like to work with injection sites, and I've announced that we're going to phase out injection sites, replace them with treatment centers. But in the interim, I want injection site employees to do daily sweeps of parks to get rid of those needles and other debris that's causing a lot of headaches for Toronto families. I think we can and we must do better, and that's what everyone's saying on the streets right now. They want to reclaim these public spaces.
What services would be provided to these people moved out of the parks? How would they be supported for housing options and mental health options as need for the complex issues that they're dealing with themselves as residents of Toronto as well?
Yeah, great question, and they will be. But first of all, I mean, it's not like the City Hall brought these individuals to this park. They just chose to come of their own volition. Some of them from other communities, other cities in Ontario. Some of these tents are empty. They are actually not being used. And in other cases, there are people who are eligible candidates to be going to mental health treatment facilities and so on. So we got to be all hands on deck working with our partners. But I think that the first step has to be us saying, these public spaces, these parks, these are for everybody in the community. When we're facing a long summer weekend coming up, we've got to be able to make it clear that families, children can have equal access to these parks. That's part one, and then yes, we want to care for people.
An ombudsman report earlier this year was critical of how the city cleared 3 downtown parks in the summer of 2021, saying the city showed significant unfairness and showed a lack of understanding about their reality. How would your plan to clear out these parks be different than what we've already seen, which faced a lot of backlash and criticism?
Well, you know what? I will be frank. I'm prepared to take backlash and criticism when it comes to standing up for what, I don't know, 90% of Toronto residents and voters want. They tell me when it comes to phasing out these drug injection sites, when it comes to a more visible police presence in our communities, on transit, on the streets, and in parks. So, as I've said, there are a lot of noisy activists who really only represent, 1 or 2% of the population, who I think disproportionately are calling the shots at City Hall right now. We got to bring voices back to the regular folks in the suburbs, families. So, it's about
clearing
making
out
the
these
tough
parks be
decisions.
similar to what we saw in like 2021, clearing out Trinity Bellwoods?
Well, we want to be as compassionate as we can, and nobody wants to get into a situation where there's violence going on. I do think there were some activists who made that situation worse than it needed to be. And obviously, if police have done this the other year, they can reevaluate and learn the better way to do it next time, because we want things to be absolutely as peaceful and respectful as possible for all.
All right, candidate for Mayor Anthony Furey, thanks so much for your time and coming in today to explaining a bit more detail about your plans for the city.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Appreciate it.